Hang on, I'll just turn the nitrous oxide off.
Goes right to your head, that stuff.
Oh, it's just the gas.
Yeah.
Welcome, my tiny chickadees.
Oh, that's creepy. Don't do that ever again.
Tis a bit.
Ever again.
What's
Don't
more
do it.
creepy is this. Hey, everybody. We're in your ear.
Oh, no.
You're
Don't
listening
like
to
that.
Big Damn Cast.
Don't like that.
I'm Big Damn Chris, a.k.a. a jar full of gobstoppers at a local fair, of which the amount of gobstoppers must be guessed to win a teddy bear.
I'm Big Damn Matt and I can't rhyme like that.
That kind of rhymed.
It did rhyme, you fool. That was the joke.
You
fool!
I am a joke, which is why I hand over the responsibility of the contents page to you. What have we got on the list this week, you handsome swine?
Well,
you beautiful Paddington bear of a man.
We're going to be talking about the hype train leading up to the imminent release of Justice League. We're going to be talking about the rumours that have come out of a Fox and Disney deal.
A talking cat?
A bad deal for cinemas from Disney on the subject of Star Wars The Last Jedi.
The mouse is being a louse.
Also got some casting news dropped for Shazam! And an interesting change for Marvel and DC writers, which we will get to in a little bit. Plus, of course, your emails.
I like how you added an extra syllable or two. Emails.
Well, you just got to give it a bit of room to breathe. Speaking of which...
Oh? Does that work?
No. The hype train for Justice League is in full swing. Clips coming out left, right and centre. TV spots, versions of trailers. Basically the whole movie is on the internet somewhere now in like 3-minute chunks.
You can piece it together pretty straightforward, yeah.
As it always is with these. I mean, it was the same with Thor Ragnarok. It was the same. It's the same with all the big budget genre movies.
Have you noticed though, the way that they're doing it nowadays is they're just dribbling them out through like media sites online. So like they pick places like comicbookmovie.com, Bleeding Cool, things like that. They just give them clips and then they post them in an article, and that's kind of it. Like there used to be a thing where they put those clips out more into TV shows, or they put it out on their official thing and be like, check out this new clip. And now they just kind of give them to other people so that they don't really get the coverage they could. Hence why, up until 10 minutes ago, we didn't realise there were many clips abound.
Many clips.
But there is one in particular we're going to talk about, which we both witnessed with our eye holes, which is...
they're my eye holes.
Oh, God. Get out of my personal space. Which I'm presuming is a cut-down version of that scene, because if not, J.K. Simmons has earned a lot of money for standing on a rooftop set for maybe an hour. But basically, it's a bat signal scene with the already publicised use of the Danny Elfman theme for Batman featuring in it.
Which I thought was quite subtle.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think it's a dangerous thing to do because you're just reminding everybody of a much better thing that they could be watching. Like, I see that and I immediately think, okay, I could be watching Batman Returns, or Batman the Animated Series right now. Instead, I'm watching this. So it's a brief clip where Jim Gordon lights up the bat signal and is approached by Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, and then Cyborg.
Which we've seen at least 2 bits of in the trailer.
Yeah.
The how many are you, not enough line, and also the gag at the end of everyone disappearing except Flash.
There's also Aquaman as well, like, dressed like a bat. I dig it. That appears to be on the roof, so that must be later on.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Which means that J.K. Simmons has done a bunch of scenes on rooftop sets.
Well,
pretty much.
He likes rooftops, does J.K.
There's nothing that suggests
he loves a good rooftop.
There's nothing that suggests that that's Gordon aside from the mustache, is there?
Yeah, but that's what...
There's not enough of his character on show.
Well, there's nothing that suggests that Superman is Superman in these movies other than the big S on his chest.
Yeah, it's very true! But they found another way to do Superman, which we'll get onto in a moment.
Oh, yes.
It feels tonally jarring to me. And I can't tell if that's just within the scene itself. Like, it's just kind of silly and weird. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but, or if it's because my brain is going, this isn't how these characters behave. We've seen them in other movies. In this series, this is not how they behave. This is jarring. It just feels odd to me. The whole thing feels odd.
I don't hate it.
No, I'm
cautiously optimistic that Justice League might not be a total train wreck.
I think if we forget that Batman v Superman and Man of Steel exist,
which I try to every day,
and Suicide Squad for that matter, if we forget that they exist,
that's pretty forgettable, to be fair.
It is, but if you ignore them, then it's possible that this is like a refresh button and that we might be able to enjoy it on its own merits.
Yeah.
That being said, it has had a very tumultuous filming build up. Everything that's happened behind the scenes of this has made it very difficult for me to believe it's going to be a smooth movie.
I'll be shocked if it makes its money back.
And also, part of its initial premise relies very heavily on those other movies having existed. Like the death of Superman, the introduction of Darkseid's coming, and all this. It's just
that sounds painful.
Oh god, he just ejaculates parademons, tiny parademons,
omega beams.
Oh,
it just makes square patterns, turns at right angles.
Oh god,
it's like Snake,
but for the vagina,
but with
or the bumhole, or the mouth. Anyway,
wherever you like, really.
Wherever he likes to shoot his omega beams. Oh my god.
God, I'm a bad man.
Darkseid's so angry because he always has to pull out. Anyway, so...
Oh god.
The colour saturation has been, like, whacked up to the opposite end of the scale, and the contrast has been whacked up.
I'm okay with that.
It looks jarring.
That being said,
to me,
though, it does make that rooftop look like a setty set.
Yeah, and
it looks like a setty ass set.
It is a set, but it looks like one. Exactly. Looks like a set. And that's a problem. Cyborg, still think he looks like shit.
Looks awful. Like really
garbage.
It's not so much that the CGI is bad as the design doesn't work and his face doesn't mesh in with it properly.
What's the actor's name? It's Ray Fisher. Again, background in theatre mostly, and for big performances like dance, things like that. They've picked a very physical actor to play this role because they knew it was going to be performance capture.
Should have been a suit. Should have been a suit.
Should have been a suit.
Should have been a suit.
But not only that, it looks like the characterization of Cyborg he's been given to work with is the blank slate, I talk like this characterization, which is the version of Cyborg that is featured in most DC stuff. And is the least interesting version of Cyborg.
It's the reason why we think Cyborg is the least interesting character in the Justice League.
Like, even Injustice makes him interesting. Not so much in the second one, but definitely in the first. In the first one, he's part of the story.
Because he's sort of conflicted, isn't he?
Like when he gets caught up in the Titans thing and he has to deal with helping out a version of Deathstroke and stuff like that. Like, there's this character there. And the Teen Titans animated show from, the early 2000s, like, that was a great version of Cyborg because he was more of a teen.
People like that show.
People freaking like that show so much that Cartoon Network refused to bring it back properly and brought back a bastardized version instead. Which looks like they might be about to do that with something else. Turtles. Looks like they might be about to do it with Turtles.
Oh, yeah.
Nickelodeon's wrapping up TMNT this season as a wrap-up, which is a smart decision. But they're already in mid-production on the new one. And the cast is like all comedians.
Oh, okay.
The upside is it's being voice directed by Rob Paulson.
Oh,
so even though he's not in it, he's directed because Andrea Romano's retired.
Yeah.
Speaking of Andrea Romano, she voice directed the Batman animated series, of which the music appears in this. And I don't know, I just think it's a desperate cry for like us, because they've confirmed haven't they, that John Williams' Superman theme's in there somewhere.
Now I thought the Batman theme integrated fairly well into this.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Superman theme.
They played it for Jim Gordon. Pretty much.
Well, but yeah, so it was just like that Gotham ambiance feel.
Yeah, I think there's a way. I think there's a much more subtle way to do it. Like you just do the establishing shot of Gotham or something, and you just have the, and then it goes into something else. Like don't play the full notes. Just give that hint of, oh, Gotham, yeah. Because then it's a tone setter.
But did you not see Danny Elfman talking about how it's Batman's only ever had one theme and it's his?
I would. I'm sorry, Mr. Elfman. I love you. I love your theme. I fucking love
and
the score you did for those two movies.
Much respect to Hans Zimmer and the Working on the Dark Knight, but there's only one Batman theme.
Respect to Hans Zimmer and respect to Akiva Goldsman. Is it Akiva Goldsman? No.
Who?
That's right, hang on. Is that the writer?
What are you thinking of?
Respect to the person who did the score for Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, because Batman's theme in that is pretty decent.
Elliot Goldenthal.
Yeah. Akiva Goldsman was the screenwriter.
Yes.
But that's dun 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 dun, which is a pretty great theme. I would argue that there are 3 Batman themes There's the freaking 60s show, because there's a damn fine theme.
Yeah.
And there is Shirley Walker's alternate theme / score for the animated series. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Okay, Mask of the Phantasm Suite.
Mm-hmm.
So Elfman, swivel on it. I do love you. I respect you. And that theme, yes, is the best Batman theme.
It is the best Batman theme.
But don't be so flippant. Michael Keaton gets away with it because he's been a comedian. But he's like, what do you mean? He's not Batman. I'm Batman.
Don't be tooting your own horn, Danny. You've got a whole horn section for that. And you love to use them, don't you?
Dirty
you
bastard.
Filthy man.
But there's now rumour that the Justice League animated series theme is interwoven in there somewhere. Which I don't hate as much because it hasn't been used in a film before. So it's like, okay, fair enough.
Throw it all in.
Chuck it all in, baby. Yeah.
Throw it all in.
In my head I was trying to play it. For some reason I was just playing Voyager.
Oh, God.
I don't know why.
They are quite similar.
Justice League. Will we talk about it again? Yes.
Definitely.
When? 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, when it comes out.
Yeah.
After it comes out.
Yeah, we're going to give you a week's leeway / we won't physically be ready to talk about it in time.
We've got a lot of stuff coming. Is this the last podcast we're going to be together for until the new year?
No, we're going to record next week's too.
Okay.
Before we go. And also possibly pre-record a certain festive edition.
Okay. Oh, God, I'm a week behind where I thought we were. Okay, cool.
It's okay.
Jesus.
Right, yeah. But get your Justice League predictions in for next week's episode, people. Are you looking forward to it? Do you think it's going to be good? And if you do happen to catch it on like the Tuesday or the Wednesday of next week, you'll probably make your email into the Friday release. So you could technically be like one of those reviewers who gets it out before the film comes out.
Oh, lovely. Oh, neat. So.
A needle pulling thread.
Some news came out yesterday.
Aye.
That... apparently.
Who's a creep now?
No.
Oh, not that. Okay. Woo!
I mean, there might be some of that in this, but who knows?
Oh, well, yes.
So, apparently, Disney have been in talks for a while to acquire 21st Century Fox.
Not 20th Century Fox. 21st Century Fox.
But under that banner would fall 20th Century Fox, the movie production studio.
Yes.
Not the Fox TV network, because Disney already own ABC, and it's illegal in the States for two corporations to own... For a corporation to own two broadcast networks.
Which I think is fair.
Yeah. Apparently those talks have now fallen through. And for the moment are dead. But they were apparently happening. This is all coming from Bloomberg. But has yet to be
confirmed or denied by Disney
or denied
Fox.
by either Fox or Disney.
What this means basically is that Fox probably financially need a leg up. They probably need some more financial support. And who is basically the biggest movie studio on the planet right now? It's Disney. Disney have several branches of different studios. They have many white-gloved fingers in many pies.
And it started to worry me for a reason. Actually, I'll throw in this next news story here, and then we'll go back to the Fox Disney thing. So the reason this kind of worries me is because it would mean Disney having something of a monopoly on a lot of the big budget film releases and franchises and stuff. It's only really Fox, Warner Brothers, and Disney and their various subsidiary studios, Marvel. Lucasfilm and all that stuff. What's the Pirates one?
Bruckheimer Productions.
Yeah. All that sort of stuff.
Studios like Bad Robot that a couple of them work with and things,
So, it's Paramount and Universal as well, but they don't seem to have a hand in the big genre movie. They've tried.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, Universal, Paramount have got Star Trek.
Yeah.
Although that's presumably on pause for a little bit while Discovery does its thing. And Universal
recently tried to start a new tentpole franchise.
Got Dark Universe,
but that's on hold.
But the reason that Disney have a monopoly worries me is because also the details of the agreement for theaters to screen The Last Jedi came out this week.
Now this is the second time Disney have done this in the last couple of years. The be all and end all of it is they are, for lack of a less terrifying term, they're strong arming smaller theatres into playing The Last Jedi, Star Wars The Last Jedi, for longer and to prioritise it in terms of screens.
And also taking a higher portion of the ticket sales.
Yeah. So if you have like a 30-screen multiplex, that's not going to affect it too much because that 30-screen multiplex is probably going to play The Last Jedi in about 5 or 6 screens. That's a lot of screens, but it's also Christmas business. Multiplexes will go, well, that's going to be a big seller over Christmas. Yeah. Absolutely, we'll give it more screens.
Like, The Last Jedi is going to make all the money.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to make all the money.
But if you have a smaller cinema, for example...
a double or a single screen cinema, even.
Yeah. For example, in Greater Manchester, the one that comes to mind for me is, in terms of ones that I've visited often... I don't travel out too much to say Bolton and that, but like I think of the View Cinema at the Lowry Outlet Mall in Salford Keys, for example. That is
6...
I think so. I think it's about 10
screens,
but they're varying sizes.
Yeah. They're all relatively small compared to the ones in the multiplexes in the Trafford Centre and in.
Yeah, they have like one
itself.
big screen, one really big one, and they have a gold ticket screen. Which isn't, giant, but it's that whole thing. If you pay a bit more, you get a big chair, you get access to popcorn and stuff like that.
It's not a big screen, but it's a nice screen.
It's a very nice screen. There's we're not sponsored, but if they'd like to, that'd be great.
We are limitless members, though.
It might clash with our Odeon membership, but
there might be a conflict of interest there.
Films in it. So one of them can't own all of us, Matt. That's part of the problem.
True.
But
that's true.
If you have a smaller cinema, if you're being strong-armed into showing The Last Jedi, because that's how they're doing it. They're not threatening them. It's a case of you have to make this much for us.
Well, the deal is
this much.
The deal is that you have to put, if you want to show The Last Jedi, you have to book a 4-week run of The Last Jedi in your biggest auditorium.
Yeah.
And you pay Disney 65% of the ticket sales.
Yeah. So they're saying if you want the biggest film of Christmas period, you've got to give us this. Now, that's
an increase of 10%.
Now, if you are
on Disney's cut,
if you are like a 10, which is freaking heinous, and like I say, it's going to make all the money. So this is dirty, underhanded shit. But if you're a 10-screen cinema, for example, like the View at the Lowry Outlet, that's going to take up like your biggest screen and probably 2 more screens for definite.
Yeah.
Where that will be permanently housed. That will be the film housed in that screen for the duration of at least 4 weeks.
Yeah.
If you are a smaller cinema, and they do exist, and a lot of people love them because obviously there's something nicer about like bigger crowds, because you guaranteed a big crowd.
I'm not so many aware of them like
not in big city centres,
but certainly when I was in London, we were at the Everyman fairly regularly.
Yeah, what's the one in Hammersmith?
That was a
Cineworld, but again, that was only like 5 screens.
5 screens. Yeah.
That was awesome, and again, you get bigger crowds.
Yeah,
because I mean, hell, if you want to go to London, even if you go to Leicester Square or whatever, like those cinemas don't have many screens.
Yeah, there's the 2 big ones where all the premieres are, and then there's one just off Leicester. Just off Leicester Square, which is tiny.
Yeah,
and I think it's an Odeon.
But you've even got like the Prince Charles, for example, like obviously tends to have more niche stuff, but it still does show like recent releases as well sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's entirely repertory, actually.
Yeah, I remember when we were down there last. It was just before Ghost in the Shell was coming out, and they were offering a double bill.
Okay.
Of the animated one and then the live action one.
Oh, okay.
So they must like do stuff.
I think they get stuff that's just finished its run in the cinemas as well.
Yeah.
So I remember I saw a couple of movies there that I'd missed on their initial cinema. Like I saw Nebraska there and I saw Babadook there after they'd finished in the cinemas.
Book yourself a ticket, grab some popcorn, sit down.
So good, Babadook.
But those smaller theatres are going to be forced into a point where if they've got, say, 3 screens, Disney are asking for, if not 2 screens, then their biggest screen, full stop, that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
And now...
That's heinous as sin.
And cinemas are fucking awful. Like...
Yeah.
I love films.
We love going to the cinema.
I hate going to the cinema.
Oh, okay.
I
like the cinema experience, but I have almost like in my head I have like a survival kit of how I do it.
I like a certain kind of cinema experience.
Unless I want a specific concession treat, if I know that I'm in the mood for that.
Yeah.
Like I want Ben and Jerry's ice cream, I'm going to get some Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Unless it's like that, I go there with a drink, with something I know I'm going to eat myself that I've paid for. I spend a maximum of maybe £3 on snacks before I get there. so that I've got stuff that I'm going to have.
Because you don't want to pay cinema prices for that shit.
Yeah.
The cinema prices, which have become so hugely inflated because that's where they make all the profit, because you don't make anything off ticket sales.
Yeah.
Because they're giving more than half of it to Disney.
Yeah. Boomting. So this is the nub of this is the nub.
This is the nub.
Cinemas have raised their food prices because that's the only way they're making money.
Mm-hmm.
Disney are like making that even more of a dangerous sort of thing, because now these theatres are sort of going to make a shit ton of money on The Last Jedi over Christmases. Every theatre is that shows that movie, but now a big chunk of that profit is going directly to the House of Mouse, and not as much is leaking back into the cinemas themselves. So Disney are killing which are the place that they want to make money from.
And part of the reason that the cinema experience is so fucking terrible is because the cinemas are poorly maintained and understaffed. Because they can't afford, because it's just
we've both had a behind the scenes perspective of working in a theatre, and it's
as a cinema. I should have not a theatre. Theatre's a different kettle of
movie theatre.
There's a different kettle of worms.
Yeah, dirty, filthy trouser worms
has its own problems.
Yeah, but like we've had that behind the scenes know-how dealt to us secondhand, and we know,
and also just had poor experiences at cinemas.
Yeah. I mean, I still quite like the experience, but I think it's because I know when to go and how to go.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't have to have a survival guide.
Yeah.
You shouldn't
I'm more limited in when I can go, and so...
Well, like our current centre of town option is fine, but it feels off as an experience.
Yeah.
It's also in the middle of a transition, so it's maybe it will get better, but I don't know. Our previous version, like for example, the Odeon when it was in the Printworks was pretty alright. It was expensive as sin, but as an experience, it didn't feel as gross as some others. Like it sort of
and
felt a lot more spread out and more like an event, because you got this weird multi-storied arcade slash.
But it's just it's putting a squeeze on an already squeezed industry.
A squozing industry.
Squozed. And coming back to the Fox Disney thing again, like you put all the Fox's movie franchises under Disney's banner, you're going to be just getting barraged. Of course, the first thing that many people went to when they saw this news was like, "Oh, Fantastic Four and X-Men coming back to Marvel finally."
Not necessarily.
See, here's the thing.
We have to.
Here's the thing that I talked about before.
The gym class era. Never mind.
Fantastic Four as a movie franchise just needs a kick up the arse, and I don't think Fox are people to do it.
No.
X-Men,
leave alone.
I've kind of resigned myself to the fact that I'm just not gonna like what Fox are doing with the X-Men. I always hold out hope because I really like Logan.
Yeah. And Deadpool.
Yeah. But the main X-Men movies, because Apocalypse was just gash.
They always say the third one's the worst one. They say in the film.
Yeah.
It's like, well done, guys.
Yeah. Well done. You're terrible.
Experience.
You're the worst.
You are the Thor, the Dark World of people.
Thor, the Dark Thor. So, leave that shit alone.
There's a creative side to it that could be beneficial. But like, in terms of that, people go in, oh, the X-Men in the MCU. No. That will overstuff the MCU like crazy.
Yeah, because look at how many X-Men characters
there are. It would be amazing if there was something where they all exist together, but if you really want an example of that outside of the pages, there's an animated show called Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes that openly acknowledges that everything is in the same universe, everyone makes an appearance in some way at some point, and it's it's like the closest thing the 2000s got to a Batman the Animated Series level of good.
Yeah.
That and Spectacular Spider-Man. So go check them out. And Justice League, obviously, but that's carrying on from Batman the Animated Series. But so that's where you can get your X-Men and Avengers crossover sort of thing without it being too overblown. It would bloat the MCU to bring the X-Men in. Yeah. So leave them out of it.
And, Disney are already they've already got 10 years of Star Wars films planned.
Yeah. Now, if you want to bring Fantastic Four into Disney, awesome, great. Love that idea. Absolutely, yes, please. Yeah. Because that's one additional element, not 70 plus characters. You wouldn't have to retroactively be like, oh, this Magneto guy, do you not remember him in World War II, Captain America? Yes, there was a kid who didn't think he did that. Just ignore it all. But then you get away from the creative side. This is sinister. Because like you say, if they then monopolise on that, what's to stop them from then going, right, okay, we've got a big Fox release that we are either the distributor for or co-founder or whatever. We want this for 4-week minimum, the biggest screens, money, money, money.
And then
now,
doing
now,
that
now.
with every big franchise.
Because this is only the second time they've done it that we know of for sure. The last time was Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Because Tarantino was very public about that. Tarantino was in January, because January was... December for the States, January for us.
Quentin Tarantino was vocal about something.
Oh, God.
What?
His chin was jabbering. Like,
did he have an opinion?
His chin and throat were jabbering like Jules Holland stuck in a frost. It was beautiful. I'm trying to release my fucking good cowboy film, and no one's gonna watch it. But Hateful Eight goes out in December in the States, came out in January for us, 2015 going into 2016, and he was touring the Hateful Eight as well in the States. Because there was that certain print of it that was the way to see it. It was like that old school
70mm, I think it was.
The old school vibe of we've got a projector, and certain theatres were taking part in this tour where the music was being played live by piano. Shit. And he went the whole hog, which is sort of an event thing. It's and you got a booklet and stuff. So that's awesome. And then some theatres, older theatres that had that equipment, were also just showing it like that, like on 70mm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's saying, that's how. Well, you can see it in digital, you can see it whatever, but I'm trying to get as many theatres as possible to show it in this format because I'm a lover of film and that's my bag, whatever. Okay, fair enough. But then there was one particular theatre that was going to show it over the Christmas period on their one screen that still had built-in, hadn't been moved projector.
Yeah.
And suddenly Disney put a kibosh on it and that theatre had to stop it. Because Disney put out this demand for The Force Awakens to be shown in the biggest screens. And that was the biggest screen of that theatre. So Tarantino was very vocal, publicly about it. And that's how we became aware of it last time. This time, I think theatre... And this info sort of dribbled out from theatres and everything, isn't it? Of we're being asked to do this.
Yeah.
So hopefully... Because Disney as a company, as a whole, produces some wonderful stuff. We're not just talking about, the movie studio,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it is a company.
It is a corporation, and it is there to make money, and it makes a lot of money.
And unfortunately, some of the people in the positions to make the big calls right now are ones who are looking at it as just, that's it.
That's...
Spread it, which is, business model, but at the same time, they're endangering public perception and affection for what parts of their company stand for.
Well, the thing is, I don't think they are, because I don't think enough people care. And that's a problem as well, because we've lapped up so much of what Disney have put out for so long that we've kind of we've forgiven them all so many transgressions.
Someone needs to hurry up and just scribble The Last Jedi on a bunch of other films. Do you know what I mean? On the USBs or on the hard drives or whatever, and just be there we go. So you go in to watch The Last Jedi and instead you see The Snowman. Maybe not that. Maybe not that. But yeah, I don't know. I just, I am a Disney apologist when it comes to X, Y, and Z, but when it comes to this sort of stuff, I'm oh god.
Some things are indefensible.
Yeah,
and
this is
this fucking gnarly business practice, and I'm not a fan.
So, death to theatres. No, wait, no, that's not what we want.
Death to cinemas.
They brought that up on Red Letter Media this week for their Thor review.
Yeah.
They talked about that, and Mike Stilcosta was sort of
Mike what?
Still
I have no fucking idea.
Mike was biased because he was sort of joking about he doesn't enjoy the theatre experience, but he was sort of aiming more at the audiences he has to share. Now in the
that is the problem.
In the States, the audiences is kind of different. I think over here it's more the etiquette and the cleanliness, the hygiene. Sort of thing.
I mean, what was the audience like when we went to see it?
Oh, it was horrendous.
Oh, it was fucking awful.
And I saw it a few days later and there was no problem the second time I saw it. But that's because it was sort of the week after it had come down a little bit.
Yeah.
Horror films always seem to be the ones that get the biggest audience in the UK anyway.
Yeah.
If just reaching into my mind without really thinking about it, Contact. The only films I can, the only film going experiences I can think of off the top of my head in the last decade, where it's been a packed screen, regardless of whether it's been first showing on opening night, midnight screening, whatever, was Force Awakens, Deadpool. That screening of it was pretty damn packed. And probably Avengers in 2012.
Oh yeah, I saw that in London. It was... Where did I see it?
Well, it was an oddity, wasn't it? It was a big sort of like, what is this? And people went to see it. But like,
I think I saw it in IMAX.
Whereas in the States, it seems to be a bigger thing that regardless of whether it's a packed screen or a half-filled screen or whatever, audience etiquette's very different and the experience is different because of that. I've only seen a film once in the States. Saw Iron Man 3 about a day after release. It was at Universal City Walk, but it was like the evening performance before everybody would have got out of work.
Yeah.
So it was a relatively calm screening. There was maybe like 50 people in there.
And how was your cinema experience on the Universal City Walk, Christopher?
Perfectly lovely. The only bit where people sort of like made a fuss and screamed and hooted and hollered was the bit where the everyone was sort of like, oh, when it, you know, where Mark 42 is catching everybody falling. People were going, woo! Like it sort of was like, okay, that's kind of cool.
Americans love people being saved from plane crashes.
Oh god! But then when the thing hit the truck, everyone pissed themselves laughing. It was great.
Americans love people being hit by trucks.
They really do. But that was the only time. I think I might have told the story on the podcast before, so I'll give an abbreviated one just in case I have. Yeah. Like Lucy says, she saw Prisoner of Azkaban in the States when that came out, and when Hermione decks Malfoy in the face.
Oh yeah.
This woman yelled out like, "Yeah, you go, girl!" And it's like so moments like that you hear like quite funny. But I imagine the States that can wear you down if you really are a movie lover and you want to see the film, not the experience. Yeah. So like, you know, people sort of don't mind cinema experiences wrapping up and closing on that basis. But at the same time, there's also people's jobs. Yeah. And like income for that area or like the place where it's based.
Jobs, it's the local economy.
So I don't want cinemas to close, but maybe shrink down a bit. So
they should be.
If they're not gonna hire more staff, at least like give a manageable amount of stuff for the staff to be able to take on.
Yeah, they need to be restructured because like there's never enough staff at any one cinema to do all the things that you need to be done. That's why the screens are always fucked. That's why the auditoriums are always filthy. No matter, even if they do clean them after every screen, you can't clean. There's not enough people to clean them properly. Seats get fucked up now and again. There's no projectionists anymore. It's all done digitally.
At least hire a couple of projectionists. And I know obviously it's not the same job. Well, but just a couple people to maintain that setting and make sure that it's not screwing up. Even if because there'll be that thing of the company being like, well, they just sit there for 90% of their day doing nothing. Good. Yeah. They're there to deal with it in case something goes wrong.
Yeah,
that way your staff working out front or like working, with the customers directly don't have to worry about that or have to be dragged away from something. Just it's mental. Anyway, point is, Disney bad, be good, Disney.
But it's okay.
Be good.
It's okay. Oh. There are brighter movies just around the corner.
For reals?
From Warner Brothers.
Oh?
Shazam!
Oh. Now, this is odd, because...
the news came last week that we're getting Zachary Levi.
Zachary Levi, who's recently been relivied of a different superhero role.
Hey!
He was cast as...
Much to your chagrin.
Yeah. Well, not in terms of his casting.
Are you still sore about that?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. I think just because when I look at that trilogy...
Is it because you're a big baby?
Well, no. Well, I've got outside investment in those characters from the books. I love them. I love them very dearly.
Also, you're a big baby.
But then I am a big baby. But then I look at that trilogy, and it seems too quick. Almost.
There was not enough room in that franchise for those characters.
But just do what you did with Sif. Go over there, and then they could rock up in Infinity War and be like, "Oh, we're over in that realm dealing with this shit. Do you want our help?"
No, I don't want your help.
Anyway,
now fuck off and go and play Shazam.
So he's gonna go play Shazam, who is being called, for all intents and purposes, Shazam. He's not Captain Marvel. He's definitely
legally
Shazam.
He has to be Shazam now.
Yeah. Which is such
even though that was the original Captain Marvel.
Yeah, it's more to do with company branding.
I think Marvel have done that whole thing in court,
which I think in the movie landscape as well makes more sense too, really, because Marvel is a brand name now known as a studio and as a creator and as a banner for a specific set of films and everything. So it would be a little confusing to the average cinema goer.
It's just gonna be less confusing.
Plus, it might be confusing because it seems that this would be a much more light-hearted film for DC to be putting out. It is like they've hit a reset button. I'm slightly less apprehensive about this than I am Justice League, though.
Get that colour saturation way up, son.
No, don't. Just make it colourful. Because like with Justice League, it feels like they're trying to clean up a mess. Yeah. Which is why I'm sort of still like, I don't know if I want to enjoy this. Whereas with Shazam, this is completely separate. In that way, we don't have to tie it into everything. Yeah. It also means we might get a Superman movie like Superman.
Yeah, because
which you should just do with whatever your Man of Steel follow-up is. Just make that...
For those who don't know,
like,
Shazam is basically Superman.
Yeah.
Every company back in the day, I think, it was Shazam.
He wasn't DC
Captain
originally,
Marvel.
was it?
No, he was someone else. And then DC acquired him, and then there was a whole thing between Marvel. Marvel did Captain Marvel when there was no Captain Marvel being published, and then DC acquired the character later on and started publishing it again. It wasn't Charlton.
No.
Because that was Blue Beetle and The Question and all that stuff.
It was somebody. He basically was someone else's, and then he became DC's.
Yeah.
But Marvel were like, oh, we've got a character with that name now. Do you mind? And they were like, oh shit, you're right. Okay, let's not put his name on everything.
While there was no Captain Marvel being published, then that's when Marvel created their Captain Marvel.
I think that's why DC in general are pushing Black Adam more.
Because it doesn't sound as silly as Shazam.
Well, no, but also that way they can tell the Shazam story without having to deal with the Captain Marvel or weird name. Like, also, that's why they cast Dwayne Johnson 4 years ago nearly as Black Adam for their DC Cinematic Universe. They've confirmed that he will be getting a movie of his own, and that he won't be in Shazam, the first one.
Is that the official title of the movie?
Yeah, Shazam
the first one.
But do you know what I mean? Like, implying that Black Adam is being saved, which I think is, if you're planning to do a couple films with Shazam, the Captain Marvel idea, I think that's kind of cool. Like, bringing his most notable enemy on the second go. Like, you know, make the first one about Billy Batson, and that's the fresh news this week. DC have gone, we're making this, and this. And we're all like, yeah, as if you're going to get around to all of them. You've already said that the Cyborg film's on the back burner now, and you're telling us this DCEU Batman doesn't exist.
I think all the films are on the back burner. I was listening to...
Well, Flash is still happening, because that's always in constant production.
Apparently that's not been greenlit again, officially.
Oh, for Pete's sakes. They've gone back to Amber. But
or at least Flashpoint hasn't.
But Shazam is definitely happening. Because this week they've announced, to follow on last week's announcement of Shazam's casting, his alter ego...
Billy Batson.
The
young boy who transforms into the Superman-esque Shazam.
Our actor is called...
Asher Angel, who apparently is a big deal on Disney Channel.
Which is a dangerous precedent nowadays.
Andy Mack? What the fuck's Andy Mack?
That means that you could be a dickhead on YouTube. But not this kid. But here's the thing. He's how old? He's like 16, 17?
It does not say in this article, and I don't care to look it up.
He looks sort of mid-teens.
He's a Disney Channel kid, so yeah. He's probably 32.
This means for your Shazam story to work at its core level and be endearing, and for your sequel to still keep up with part of the key premise, you're going to need to start making them very soon.
Like now.
Because young Billy Batson is just that. Young. Part of the charm of this, if you don't know the Shazam Captain Marvel thing, Billy Batson, like, imbued with the powers of this wizard or whatever, and whenever he yells, Shazam! He turns into the superhero who can do amazing feats, and he's basically Superman.
So wait. The superhero who is called Shazam turns to and from a superhero when he says Shazam.
He's a Pokemon.
How he can be defeated by someone asking him his name?
I'm not as brushed up on my Captain Marvel history.
I'm not brushed up on my Captain
Marvel.
Would
he turn back if sosomeone yelled Shazam? I've seen that
No,
happen.
he has to say it.
Okay. I've seen that happen. Like, someone else yell, like, Black Adam's word or whatever it is, and he says Shazam as well, doesn't he?
He says something else.
But anyway, regardless, they've got to start making this soon, because they now have a young star. And if you want to get at least 2 movies out of this character, you need to start ASAP.
Young star.
Because it isn't the same if clearly in his early 20s Billy Batson's turning into Shazam. It's not the same. Especially when your Shazam isn't a hulking behemoth of a Charles Atlas character.
Behemoth.
He's Zachary Levi, who is not going to turn into a Dwayne The Rock Johnson style physique sort of gentleman in the next couple of months.
Which is strange, because that's what Captain Marvel is.
Yeah.
I mean, go look at the Kingdom Come version of Captain Marvel.
Oh, Jesus.
He's
all neck.
He's just barrel.
Captain Neck.
He's literally barrel. He's not barrel-chested as in he's got a large chest. He's actually a barrel with arms on.
He's probably got a tap on him somewhere that if you twisted it, whiskey came out. Don't go looking for it. That'd be creepy.
Also, the pants are very tight.
Dirty bastard.
Like, Alex Ross clearly had an anatomically correct model to work from. Well, he worked from a real person, obviously, but yeah.
Well, Alex Ross sort of goes from that Charles Atlas.
Oh, yeah.
Slash mix of the Schwarzenegger figure with the 1940s, 50s
look at
ideal of a bulky, muscular man.
Look at the Superman in the same story. I love the Alex Ross Kingdom Come Superman. There's just something about it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Frank Whiteley sort of does something like that, doesn't he?
Yeah,
as well, like that idea of him having been sort of again thick neck, barrel chest. Like, yeah, he's not got a square jaw.
Yeah,
because you wouldn't. Like, you've got that much muscle on your neck, and everything. You wouldn't have a square jaw. It'd look weird. So he's got a bit of a chin going on, and yeah. I'm fine with Zachary Levi as Shazam. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, similarly, when they announced Gal Gadot, I wasn't like, oh, she doesn't fit the role physically. I was like, oh, that's different from how it is. You know what I mean? How
but then
she's
gone on to prove that, actually, no, she does own that role physically. Yeah.
It's totally about presence. And again, I still argue that she didn't get to prove it properly till Wonder Woman because she was directed terribly.
Yeah.
Like she was clearly a physical presence in Batman v Superman, but she was a Zack Snyder.
There wasn't enough
physical presence of a CGI leaping character.
There wasn't enough of her in Batman v Superman to go, oh yeah, she owns that. And
Plus, she was awfully directed.
And then Wonder Woman happened to like, oh no, actually, yeah, she fucking owns that.
You own that. Whereas Zachary Levi, I'm like, okay. Again, I can see it. He's not physically like the character. Let's see what happens. Does he bulk? Is it more of a charm offensive? Are they going down the charm offensive? It's like, I am the hero, motherfucker. Do you know what I mean?
Probably.
Are they going down that route? Is he going to bring some of the Flynn Rider to it, basically?
Is he going to be a snotty little kid, though?
I don't know. I think you have to play them polar opposites for it to work.
Yeah.
Like they're still a kid. It's still a kid in a thingy's body, but there's sort of there's a slight personality shift usually from what I've read of the characters. Like, he does act a little differently as Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Even though it is Billy. But, we'll see. Mark Strong rumoured to be the villain.
Dr. Sivana.
He's obviously not learned his lesson from being cast as the villain in a DC movie.
Mark Strong returning as Sinestro? No.
After the credits, will I get to turn into something else?
Yes.
And will it ever lead anywhere? Why are you talking in a Cockney accent? Is he Cockney or is he
Scottish? I have no fucking idea, Mark Strong.
Kingsman's blurred it in my head.
I just don't.
I'm sure he is naturally
I think he's British.
Cockney.
Yeah. Well, he'd be Scottish. He'd be British if he was Scottish. Egypt.
What's next on the contents page? My brain is melting.
I think he's from London. There we go.
That's Greek.
He's got a Greek dad.
Yeah.
He's got a Greek dad.
Thanks, voice in the ether.
Voice in the ether. What say you?
No.
Oh,
cool.
Okay. Well, Chris.
Yes?
The Ravens have left the tower. Hell has frozen over. The end times are coming.
Satan is skating to work.
Brian Michael Bendis is leaving Marvel Comics after 17 years.
But not just that.
And has signed what he has phrased as a multi-year, multifaceted exclusive deal with DC.
What?
I know, right?
The hell? Now, straight up thoughts. Bullet points here.
Yep.
What's going to happen to his Marvel books, of which there are many.
4 and an upcoming mini.
And I can't wait to see what he does with the other Sam
Oh,
books.
yeah, absolutely.
This is odd. Like, you worded this best before when we read the story. You said, for my entire adult life, his name has been on many of the books I've read.
Yeah.
Like, my first regular comic book, in terms of me getting every issue never failing, was Ultimate Spider-Man. So, in my head, when I picture a comic book, if I in that complete, like base level, in your imagination, picture yourself, you're reading a comic, what are you reading? Whatever I'm reading in my head, it says, written by Brian Michael Bendis, illustrated by Mark Bagley. That immediately pops up in my head, because those two names are synonymous with me growing up with comics.
He's been writing Marvel Comics since I was 13 years old.
Yeah.
I turned 30 in a couple of months.
Yeah.
That's bonkers.
Yep.
That is bonkers.
Over half of your life, Brian Michael Bendis has been dishing out tomes to you.
And now he's leaving it all behind, and he's going over to DC. I've been looking at some of the comments on various... and you never read the comments. And
read the comments.
And it's a combination of people going, boo, oh yeah, now we can fuck up DC, because people think that he fucked up Marvel. And people being excited for, seeing him work with a different set of characters. Which I think I fall into that latter camp. I'm interested to see... I'm interested to see what books they put him on.
I want to see Bendis' Wonder Woman. That's what I want to see.
Oh, yeah. That's a good shout. Because he's done really good stuff with Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
He created Jessica Jones.
He's one of those brilliant writers who, he doesn't do like, how do you write strong female characters? Because he's like, well, I don't. Like, I write a character. Yeah. Like, that's how it works. And again, like, has introduced the world to some freaking phenomenal headlining female characters for books, like Jessica Jones, for
and supporting cast, Maria Hill, Daisy Johnson.
So I would like his care and love for just writing damn good stories.
I'd like Bendis on one
to be brought to a character who the spotlight is on right now in a way that it hasn't been for ages, and who needs to be looked after right.
I could see him...
Because this is how you bring in new readers. If Diana is suddenly having amazing stories, do you know what I mean, that are so well written, that's only going to make the industry thrive. It's going to take care of that character. It's going to put DC up in a higher place. Also, I'd like to see what you do with characters like Superman. I know I'm picking the flagships, but I'm curious to see what you do with him after what he's done with Spider-Man for years.
I don't want to see him on Batman.
Yeah, agreed.
One, because
I'd like to see him write Batman, but not run a Batman book.
No, I think Tom King's doing a great job on the main Batman book. Detective, I've not been as up on, so I'm not sure what's going over in Detective, but what I have read of it is good. Plus, what I have read of Detective, it seems more like it's a team book focusing on Batwoman and her team, rather than with like Batman overseeing it, rather than it being a Batman book. It's
almost like a What If Batman Incorporated continued sort of
well,
thing.
basically,
the idea of like here's a faction.
Batman's basically put together a team of Spoiler, Orphan, Red Robin, and Clayface, and then later Azrael, and they're being trained as a team by Batwoman under his tutelage.
Thinking of Avengers, thinking of New Avengers, and thinking of Ultimate Spider-Man
Justice
and Ultimate
League.
Comic Spider-Man. Okay,
Bendis Justice League.
Asterisk. I definitely want to see that. Give him a Titans book.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Like, give him a Titans.
Well,
like,
there's two. There's Titans.
He was much older than a teenager when he wrote like 10 plus years of teenage characters, and they were so freaking convincing
Titans
and well-rounded.
At the moment. There's Titans, which is the classic Teen Titans.
Yeah.
And there's Teen Titans, which is the new generation of Teen Titans.
Yeah. Give him either of them.
Yeah.
I'd lap that shit up.
Well,
Give him both.
Well, Teen Titans.
Give him both.
Teen Titans are led by Damian. So, yeah, that could be...
Actually, Bendis writing Damian would be fun.
That could be quite fun. Oh, I was thinking Nightwing. Because I was thinking street level, like...
Yeah, he does that really well, yeah.
I think Nightwing's a good sidestep from Daredevil.
But I liked his New Avengers take. Yeah.
Yeah. And he had a celebrating run on Daredevil, so I think Nightwing would be a good slide across from that.
Do you know, I'll be honest, I know, because these people are going, oh, he ruined Marvel. It's like, no, what's happened is he was given so many things that if you don't like his style, or if he's like completely overswamped, it's not necessarily star work.
Notorious for ignoring continuity, which, again, you can't.
You can't be too beholden.
As a comic book fan, you have to be very selective about when you do and don't like continuity, because none of it works.
Continuity's nice, and it's lovely when stuff runs into other things.
Yeah,
but you do have to kind of just go
continuity.
Throw continuity to the wind.
If it doesn't serve the story that you're telling, it's not important.
Like, that being said, I'd give him any book. I'd be interested.
People
Clarion the Witch Boy.
Oh god. People also chat about him being like ignoring characters' voices and writing everyone who sounds the same. Writing everyone to sound the same. I've never really got that.
No.
He does sometimes write characters who don't sound like they do when other writers write them, and might sound a bit unlike themselves. I get that, but they don't all sound the same. I mean,
writers have to find their feet. If you're given a book of someone else's concept that someone else has been writing before you, you're not necessarily going to tune into exactly how everybody sounds immediately.
Oh, this is interesting.
Is it?
Marvel Comics.
Is it? Let's see.
Let's see this.
Has this come through whilst we've been talking about it?
Yeah. This is Marvel's reaction to the Brian Michael Bendis news.
Okay. Read verbatim, good sir. This is from Newsarama.
Okay. Brian is a great partner and has contributed incredible stories and characters to the Marvel Universe over the years. We appreciate his creativity and professionalism, and we wish him the best on his future projects. They also told... I'm getting this from Newsarama. They also told Newsarama that the company was aware that Bendis would not be renewing his long-held exclusive with them, which he last signed back in 2015, and had signed a deal with DC. they declined to comment on Bendis' 4 ongoing Marvel titles, the announced Punisher End of Days miniseries, or the continued publication of his creator-owned work through Icon.
Yeah, so Icon, he's got Powers,
Scarlet, and something else. Which I
imagine his creator-owned, he'd probably still be able to keep a finger in that pie. I imagine there's some sort of thing where he'd be able to like either advise or he has to approve stuff, for example.
Yeah.
But certainly his Marvel books, I think, will just either they'll wrap up or someone else will take them on. He's currently writing Invincible Iron Man.
Yeah, which looks like it's getting ready to wrap up his arc on that now anyway.
Fair play. Spider-Man, which is the Miles Morales book.
Which is going to be weird because he's always written Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
No one else has ever written Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, and now someone else is going to have to.
Yeah. Since 2000 and since the end of
2000. Yeah. Oh God!
He's been writing Ultimate Spider-Man, and it's changed volumes. Like it started from number 1 over again.
Well, yeah, it was Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, Ultimate Comics presents Spider-Man Miles Morales, and all this stuff.
He's been writing that book since 2000.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's mapped out what he knows he'd like to do, and he just hands it over, and he's like, "Here's where I'd want to take it. Here's a natural conclusion." Obviously, they probably won't conclude Miles' story outright because that character's about to be sort of put more in the spotlight as well.
With Miles coming into team books, like going on the Avengers and then leaving the Avengers and forming the Champions.
An animated movie coming out in the year.
Other people have got their hands on that character now and probably got a handle for him.
Yeah.
So
that's fine.
That's fine.
Defenders, again, other people writing that, fair play. It's just because at the moment it's very much got his voice because it's the Netflix kind of lineup of which he has a wealth of experience.
It's the Netflix lineup. He created Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
He loves Luke Cage.
Which, of course, is the other book.
He loves Daredevil.
Yeah.
So, Jessica Jones.
That's going to be
what's
weird.
What's going to happen to that?
But Jessica's been written by other people, like as part of Avengers
Jessica
and
has...
stuff. Not as a prominent character.
Not very often.
More as a supporting cast member.
The only stuff with Jessica Jones in that I can think of that wasn't written by Bendis is she pops up briefly in the very first volume of Young Avengers. And that's kind of it. Alias was all Bendis.
What about Spider-Man?
The Pulse was all Bendis.
Spider-Man 2.
Is that
finished?
All the scripts he submitted must be.
Yeah,
because he's in the middle of arcs on Jessica Jones and Spider-Man at the moment.
Wait, this none of the news so far says when it goes into effect, and even then, when it does go into effect, depending on how he handles deadlines and whatnot, it's possible that he could start working for DC like 4 months before his Marvel stuff even finishes.
Yeah.
Although I know from what comic writers I talk to that sometimes it is very up to the deadline based on what you're doing and who you're working with. So.
But I mean,
it could be a very quick transition.
Looking at Bendis' prodigious output and the amount of books he writes at once,
he's the juggler.
Yeah, so
he's the Kirby.
And, he's not. He's had celebrated runs on Daredevil, on New Avengers. He basically revitalized Avengers for the 2000s with New Avengers and sort of laid the groundwork for them to be, along with the Ultimates, laid the groundwork for them to become household names.
Yes, very true.
And stuff in the movie. Did the same thing with Luke Cage. Well, like revitalized Luke Cage as a character, created Jessica Jones, all that good stuff. His recent stuff people have been more critical of, particularly Invincible Iron Man, and
it's probably Bendis fatigue.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Like, regardless of the actual quality, it might just be people going like, "Oh, he's writing everything." You just automatically get that thing.
His Guardians of the Galaxy one was not particularly well received, and I was not a huge fan of what I read of it.
I read the first
all new
12 and I quite enjoyed, but I didn't have the urge to follow after that.
His X-Men tenure was patchy.
Was that new X-Men?
It was all new and uncanny.
Okay, I read some all new. Yeah.
And of course he's been heavily involved in Civil War 2, which was
dreadful.
Fine. I'd argue it was fine,
but I think with that there's a bit more cynicism that comes with that because he obviously wouldn't have gone forward and said, "I have an idea for a book called Civil War 2."
He didn't want it to be called Civil War 2.
Yeah,
that was a Marvel thing.
Yeah.
And
a simple title change may even have made that story a little more palatable.
Yeah.
But obviously they want to get in them dollars, son.
Yeah.
So all in all, I think we wish him well.
Oh, absolutely! I'm really looking forward to see what he does at DC. And what book they put him on?
I still nominate either Wonder Woman or Teen Titans.
Nightwing.
Clary and the Witch Boy.
Clary and the Witch Boy.
On a road trip with Etrigan.
Nightwing. Justice League.
You would read the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Clary and the Witch Boy and Etrigan the Demon on a road trip.
Yeah, I would read that. I would.
With the cat driving.
I would read it. And you know what else I'd read? I'd read your email.
My God, that was seamless. If it weren't for the fact that I'm pointing it out. Damn it, I pointed it out!
Oh no!
Oh, tit biscuits.
First one comes in from Guy. Not that guy, a different guy.
Which guy?
I'm not your friend.
I'm not your buddy, Guy. It's a big damn cast. Hello, I really enjoy your podcast, even though I'm not really a superhero fan, and even sometimes you're talking utter nonsense, but it's really fun nonsense, so who cares?
That should be our tagline.
True.
We talk utter nonsense, but it's fun
Sometimes
nonsense,
it's
so
fun nonsense,
who
so
cares?
who cares? A few podcasts ago, you said you might do a Terry Pratchett podcast. I would completely be for that. A definite plan for the future. I just need to do a bit more reading.
Yeah, so do I, to be honest.
I don't want to. I want to.
You want to do
refresh
justice
myself
to
on
TP.
some of that stuff, and there's some gaps in my. It's particularly in the latter Discworld books I need to fill before I talk about that. But yeah, I think we should definitely talk about some Terry Pratchett at some point.
The old TP. I did ever tell you I met him very briefly.
Oh no!
In the Eden Project.
Tell me your Terry Pratchett
So
story.
I was about, I want to say 11, and I was reading The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents while I was on holiday in Cornwall, and we're at the Eden Centre. It was my first ever visit to the Eden Centre. Have you ever been to Eden?
No, I've never been to Eden.
It's fascinating, but a lot of walking and you'll sweat like a bitch because obviously the humidity's different in the different domes.
Yeah.
There was a period where my dad and my stepbrother went to go to the toilet in the middle of one of the walks. So my stepmom was off doing something else. So I sat down on a bench, just being left for a few minutes in the middle of one of the domes, and there's a couple of breaks in the middle of the pathways, and I sat on one of the benches, and I open up my bag, and I bring out Amazing Maurice, and I just, carry on reading the chapter I'm on. And there's a gentleman sat on the bench, across the way, and I didn't know what he. I only vaguely knew what he looked like at this point. It's only later that I realised that he had a silhouette.
Yes.
But
yes.
Sat on the bench opposite is a man, and he was with a lady of a similar age, and sort of someone in their 20s, I think. He had a wide brim hat with a tall peak, big grey beard, little glasses on the end of his nose. And he I just that moment where I'm looking around, and we just sort of met eyes. He looked down at the book, looked up, and went. Just went, give me the okay signal.
Oh,
and I sort of was like, in my head, I remember, because it was only 11 or 12, in my head I was like, I think that's Terry Pratchett. And I just sort of looked over and I smiled and waved. And he sort of smiled back. And then they finished their conversation stuff and they went off. And as my dad came back from the bathroom and everything, we were walking around and I went, I think I just saw Terry Pratchett. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, a man just he gave me an okay sign to me reading the book. And he was like, okay, that doesn't mean. I was like, he had a big white beard and this hat on. And he went, oh my God, that's Terry Pratchett.
Yeah, it's Terry Pratchett.
We spent the next half hour trying to see if we could spot him again. We didn't see him again, so maybe it was a hallucination. But
spontaneous Pratchett hallucination.
But I just love the idea that he obviously saw that as an author. That was to be probably quite a nice experience to be like, oh look, there's a kid reading the kids' book I've written.
Yeah.
It's huzzah. A random spot. But yeah. So that's that yeah. I feel personally I'm not as read up on Terry stuff. So I think if we do an episode, you need to revise your Discworld, and I might have to get hold of the Channel 4 animated movies again.
Well, we can get much more of an episode out of Pratchett, even just his Discworld stuff.
I want to play the PC game. I never played that. There's a PlayStation one as well.
There was 3. There was Discworld.
Yeah.
Discworld 2, missing presumed question mark.
Yes.
Because it's about death going missing.
Yes.
And there's
sort of like soul music.
Yeah.
Ah.
And there's Discworld Noir.
That's the one that was on PlayStation.
No, that was on PC as well. The first two.
I remember the posters for that in PlayStation Magazine, like the advert, one-page ads, and they were really creepy.
The
looking.
first two were on PlayStation as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're all point-and-click adventure games. The first two are hand-drawn. Discworld Noir's 3D.
Yeah.
And the first two you play as Rincewind, voiced by Eric Idle.
Yes, which is kind of great casting.
Kind of great. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, yeah, we sort of derailed there, guys.
Terry
Sorry
Pratchett,
about that.
we'll think of some things like that.
Can't believe I've never told you that.
You've never told me that. You've never told me your Pratchett
That's really
story.
weird.
I thought we were friends.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I was wondering if you would do a Star Trek Nostalgia podcast at some point. If you're interested, if not, it doesn't matter. I'd like to talk about some old Trek because I like Star Trek, but I'm not like a Trekkie, I guess. But
I've seen the entire first series of the original series.
Yeah.
And I've got them, so I should probably plow through 2 and 3.
Well, it's all on Netflix, so I've been watching it here and there.
What, the original series as well?
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's the remastered one with the CGI, with the new CGI effects and stuff as well.
Oh, the Blu-ray releases.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I've seen all of TNG at least once.
Yeah.
Which is my favourite.
I've seen most of TNG, maybe not all. I've seen big chunks of DS9 and Voyager. I've seen like the first season and a half of Enterprise because it's terrible. And I'm like coming towards the end of the second season of the original series at the moment. And I've seen all of the films. I don't know because there's a lot.
There's 6 of the original series.
There's 6
4
in Generations.
in the Next Generation series.
Yeah, and then 3 more in Generations, and then
3 in
the Jabrams
reboot. Yeah.
I'm currently watching Star Trek Discovery and enjoying it very much.
Aye.
I think I'm up to date on that. Yeah, I am. I caught up the other day.
We'll do a Star Trek one as well at some point.
Yeah, we should do some Star Trek.
We've not done a lot of themed episodes lately. We should do it.
Yeah, we should make a comeback. But also we should do some more YouTube stuff maybe around these kind of themes. We'll see what we can do in the new year.
Hint. Subtle hint.
Oh.
Is it subtle if you shout subtle?
Yes, it's definitely more subtle if you shout
subtle.
subtle.
As subtle as he gets. Also, in the Book of Dust, Volume 1, having just come out, what is your opinion on his Dark Materials and thoughts on the upcoming TV series? Regards, Guy Grist.
Hi, Guy Grist. That's a comic book name.
A fucking great name.
Guy Grist. Mild-mannered emailer by day.
Quality name.
Violence vigilante by night.
I've only read The Golden Compass.
I've not read any Philip Pullman.
And seen The Golden Compass, and The Golden Compass film is... It's fine. And the Golden Compass...
It was shut out in that era of we want to be Harry Potter, wasn't it?
The trailers were literally
the
ring, the One Ring, turning into the Golden Compass because it was New Line pushing it as their next Lord of the Rings.
Yes, I remember that. That's gross.
Yeah, it's gross.
That's absolutely disgusting.
And it just didn't land because it wasn't great.
Pretty much.
But the book's really good. I just never got round to reading Amber Spyglass is the next one, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
I just never got round to reading it. So
part of me thinks they did a TV adaptation at some point, but
they are working on one at the moment.
That's the upcoming.
I think it's out at Christmas. I want to say.
I'm not sure. I'm afraid we can't give you much of that. We had tales aplenty for the other 2 questions.
I'm gonna look at that. No, I like the idea of his Dark Materials. I've just never read all of them. I liked what I read, and there's no particular reason I've not read the Amber Spyglass other than just not having read it yet. Let me just check if his Dark Materials is a thing. Oh no, I guess it's not. It's not really been talked about. It's Philip Pullman and Jack Thorne are working. Jack Thorne's working on adapting it, and that's kind of all. It's being produced by Julie Gardner and Jane Tranter, but other than that,
Bad Wolf Productions are working on it. Okay, fair enough.
But that's all the info we have.
I immediately am slightly more invested knowing that Bad Wolf are making it.
I know you love it, you filthy.
Well, those two are great. They're amazing. What's next?
What up, Chris and Matt?
Oh, God. It's my sentient tapeworm. Oh, wait, no, hang on. He has a French accent.
Now that you've had a week to let your opinion of Stranger Things Season 2 solidify, which of the 2 seasons do you prefer? And why?
Hi, Tom.
I think... I don't know. There's good and bad about both seasons.
Yeah, Herb.
So I don't know if... I think they work really well in tandem.
Yeah. I think if at Desert Island, like, you've got to go and pick one, I'd go for 1.
If I can only pick
one
one
is a story
season,
with an ending.
I would pick season 1, but there's so much good stuff in season 2.
Yeah.
That my only real criticism about season 2 is that there's not enough 11 in it.
Okay.
And the Chicago stuff didn't need its own episode. It should have been peppered out through the series.
And where's Hopper's dog? Serious question. Where's his dog gone?
Are you following David Harbour on Twitter?
No, should I?
Man is hilarious. Someone asked him that the other day, and
did they?
Yeah.
Actually, okay.
This is not a hilarious answer or anything. It's just a silly dad joke, but he's quite a cool dude. And he was just saying, the dog was rough. It was always in its trailer, giving shit to assistants, so we got rid of it.
Oh god. Okay, that is dad joke.
It was fired.
It's worth a follow. It's worth a follow. At least it wasn't a dog called Isis. Yeah.
Also, Will went missing on 6th November.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, we are just past the anniversary of Will going missing.
Good. Hate
So-
that kid.
Whoa! Jesus!
No, he's fucking great, Noah Schnapp. That was the good thing about the second season. He's actually getting to see a lot more of him.
And finding out that they'd cast someone damn good.
Yeah.
Because obviously it could have gone any which way. When we didn't really get enough of a vibe from Series 1 to find out if you could handle a series arc.
But we've spoken about Stranger Things. Are either of you looking forward to The Crown Season 2, which hits Netflix in December, if you watched the first season?
I saw some of the first.
I'd not watched the first season, not particularly excited for the second season.
What I saw was nice, so it was quite well done.
Like, amazing cast, have no interest in the royals and the drama of their lives.
I like how it's. Have you heard what the plans are for Series 3 and 4?
Yeah, Series 3 is going to time jump and Olivia
and people
Colman,
are really
yeah.
annoyed about it. Because they're going like, just give Claire Foy age makeup. Like, she's amazing. She's great as the part. It's like, no, here's the thing. Do you know how big the freaking budget would be and how distracting that would get? It makes sense to recast. So the plan is 2 more seasons with her in sort of, I think they're moving it to the 80s, 90s.
I believe so, yeah.
And then there'd be another one sort of set. It'd be 70s, 80s. And then the next one would be the 90s. Because it'd probably be dealing with like Diana stuff and everything.
Oh,
I wonder how much they're allowed to say about that.
That's going to be interesting. Yeah.
It is a romanticized version of the life of these people. It's a TV.
Which is probably why I'm not interested in it. Like a romanticized version of an already romanticized.
I'd recommend you dip into an episode of Series 1 out of curiosity's sake, though, just to see John Lithgow's take on Winston Churchill.
I love that fucking cast. Like I love that
cast. He's great.
They're all amazing performers. So.
But yeah. Look forward to our The Crown special in 2019.
Chris, can you reveal if 5 Who fans are preparing anything big for Christmas 2017? That'll be all. Have a nice week. Tom.
No.
Monty.
No, Tom. No, I can't. Of course I can't. No. But I will say this. There's a tradition, and thou should definitely pay attention to said tradition. So, keep an ear out, you little gits.
Keep an ear to the ground, the eye on the prize, and your mouth shut.
Now, do you know what I fancy, Matt, to round us out?
What?
I fancy an email with maybe 4 or 5 individual questions that we could probably sort of answer within a smart, neat amount of time.
5 individual questions? We rapid fire this one.
Yeah. If only we have an email just like that.
Oh, wait, we do! Dearest BDC, a slightly busy email, just not emailing for a while. I hope you both had a good Halloween. No, shit.
Also, you don't have to bank things up and send it to us after a while. It's totally fine.
That's fine.
You don't have to fill up like a well or a reserve. If you do have to ask questions that you didn't get to ask us in time, just ask them to a stranger on the street. Politely. Or from a distance. Okay, first one.
With you discussing Stranger Things, I was curious to know which book adaptation in Netflix's A Series of Unfortunate Events Chris is looking forward to, and he gives you a choice of 4.
Oh,
which I'm assuming is the next 4.
Yeah, presumably. Yeah, if they're going to do 4 again in the series.
The Austere Academy, the Ersatz Elevator,
yeah,
the Vile Village,
and the
Hostile Hospital.
In terms of seeing one of them adapted to screen, Vile Village, because it's going to have some pretty weird Wicker Man-esque vibes about it.
Love it!
So that'd be creepy to see in a family show. Plus, that's around the time that Olaf starts to dispatch with disguises, because he can be a lot more hands-on. So it'd be nice to see MPH be creepy and whatnot.
Well, as Ian says, this is from Ian, by the way.
Hi, Ian!
I don't remember much about the Izat's elevator or the hostile hospital, but I remember loving the feeling of the Vile Village.
Yeah, it's...
on my fingers and toes.
The Gothic Archies, which were a
didn't say
band
that.
comprised of a few musicians, including Daniel Handler, the author of the book. Spoiler alert! Sorry about that. On accordion. A band called the Gothic Archies.
Lanyard Dangler?
Did all... Lanyard Dangler. That's a great name. They did all the songs for the audiobook releases as a band called the Gothic Archies, and the songs are brilliant. There's an album, a collection of them all together, called the Tragic Treasury.
And you
really
have
good.
7 copies!
And no, I have one, but
fine!
I treasure it so much. It's such a great album. But
I've seen his shrine.
The song for the Vile Village is just eerie as sin. Like it's wonderful. So I can't wait to see that one. Rapid fire.
I'm currently listening to the Harry Potter books on audio.
Oh, American or English?
Does not
that
say.
means you get either Jim Dale or Stephen Fry.
It's got to be Stephen Fry. Is there anything you wish was in the films that was left out of the books?
Peeves. Just Peeves.
That's
Rick Mail playing Peeves. That's
anything you wish that was in the films.
They filmed
left
stuff
out
for the
from
first
the books.
one.
I think is what you meant to say there. Yes.
Yeah.
Peeves.
Peeves, absolutely.
Because Rick Mail.
I mean, that's... I can't think of anything else that I wanted to see so desperately.
Because,
maybe the stuff with Hermione's elf, house elf rights spew in
Society
for
the Protection of Elf Welfare.
That would have been nice, if only just to reinforce to the moviegoers that Dobby was the thing, because he's in number 2 and then he just randomly appears again in 7 part 1.
Yeah, it was like and die.
Yeah.
Oh,
Spoiler alert for a film that's nearly 10 years old,
and also a book that's older than that.
older than Sin. But yeah, maybe those two things.
Yeah,
are probably the only things.
because especially those first 2 films where everything's kind of set up, they are laborious adaptations of those first 2 books. Like they are almost page for page.
They take out they sort of pick a set piece or 2 in each one that they just take out for time.
Yeah,
and then they just do everything verbatim. So they streamline it in the sense of just going, well, that might be expensive. St. Nick's, was it Nearly Headless Nick's Death Day Party? That's probably going to be expensive. Let's just take that out of number 2.
Yeah.
There it is. We don't have to CGI animate the Headless Brigade or any of that stuff. There we go. Boom.
It's not until the third one that the adaptations start getting more pragmatic and stylish, because they actually hired a director with a sense of
flair. And he sets a tone that the rest of the films then stick to.
Yeah, and of course, because they're good adaptations, you get everything you need.
Have you seen the interview that's been doing the rounds online this last few months, actually, of Rick Mail being interviewed about his work on Harry Potter? And he's just very candid. He's like, the films were shit. They were shit. I know they were shit because I wasn't in them. So he's taking the piss, but you can tell he's also annoyed at the fact that he did all this work, because it was probably the only time he ever did sort of weird green screen stuff for something, and he was obviously like, I did a load of work and they just didn't bother.
I do miss Rick Mail.
Yeah. Oh, R.I.P. Rick Mail. He can now show up at the locations for the filming as a ghost.
Anyway, I thought we were going quick fire.
I'm just inventing Ghost Rick Mail.
Now that the official trailer is out, have you booked tickets for 50 Shades Freed? No.
What?
The trailer is out. The trailer came out today.
Of course, because they're trying to make it into a Halloween kind of thing, aren't they? Where every Valentine's they get. But isn't this the last one?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Until they adapt Grey, 50 Shades from Christian's perspective.
Is that a thing?
It's an actual
Same
thing.
author?
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. Oh my god.
It's totally a thing.
There's a similar thing with Twilight.
Oh, yeah, Twilight did something, didn't they? Stephanie Meyer released a book from Edward's perspective. So again, it's just her
Even as
copy.
someone who hasn't read any of those books, it is so pervasively toxic. I know
Oh
it.
my god. But that's what's gross as well.
Wonderful.
It just shows how much 50 Shades is literally a rip-off in terms of what it's trying to achieve. The fan fiction thing is continued to the point of her going, I'll do that as well.
Final
That is
question.
sickening. Oh, please wash my mouth out.
Maybe too early to ask, but what is your favourite Christmas dinner?
Oh.
Yes, it is too early to ask, and we're going to keep you waiting for the answer on that one.
Ha ha! Ha ha!
No, we're not really.
No, it's not that important.
Turkey, well-cooked turkey, all the trimmings.
Mash, roasties.
Yeah. Brussels sprouts.
I'm not a stuffing guy, and
I love a good stuffing.
You know your taste buds like allegedly change roughly every 7 years or whatever.
Yeah.
I have had a love-hate relationship with sprouts in that order. Like, loved them, hated them, now hate them again.
I have only ever loved sprouts.
You dirty swine. I'm not big on parsnips. But that means...
honey glazed roast parsnips!
But that means if you're at the table with me, I'll swap you my parsnips for at least one of your pigs in blankets.
Oh, you're not having my pigs in blankets,
Pigs
boy.
in blankets are the greatest
You
part
are
of
not
Christmas.
having my pigs in blankets.
They
are my little warm piggies.
Do you know what's amazing? Sausages. Do you know what's even more amazing? Cooked bacon. Do you know what's even more amazing?
Wrap the sausages in the bacon.
But then we limit them to Christmas time.
Oh,
Bullshit.
no.
So on that happy note, if you would like to get in touch with us during the week, you can do just that. BigDamnContact@gmail.com is the place to send your emails. We want to know what your predictions are for Justice League, whether or not you are looking forward to it. And if you manage to catch an early screening next week, if you manage to see it on the Tuesday or the Wednesday, send us your short review. We want to know what you think.
Please try to avoid sending us any spoilers, though.
Yes, because if you're going to send your Justice League review, make your subject Justice League review.
And pre-warn for any spoilers, because I like to go in clean.
Yeah. And speaking of clean, make sure to wash underarm. And while you're washing underarm, make sure to tell all your friends about Big Damn Cast on YouTube and on iTunes. We can only grow if you help it be so. So spread the word like piss on snow. It rhymed.
No.
Doesn't matter.
No.
You can also hit us up on Twitter at Big Damn Cast and, of course, on YouTube.
Yes.
Matt is currently ploughing through Until Dawn.
With all the force of a thing that plows.
I'm in every episode knowing full well what certain things you're about to see.
A snowplow train?
So there are two shows to watch at the minute in Adventures in Backlogging. Watch the playthrough and then watch the episode through again, watching my face.
And only his face.
Because I may or may not be performing behind you knowing what's about to happen.
I know, I've caught that on when I've been doing things with the videos, you silly naughty boy.
So if you want to see Matt being scared out of his tiny shorts, check out Adventures in Backlogging.
I think the last one should be out by the time you you're hearing this.
Well, maybe the last one. Depends on how you play out.
I think we've got one more in us after what we've recorded today.
Oh, dirty swine.
Hey!
Speaking of dirty swines, goodbye to you all out there. And if we leave you with any advice, it's this.
That was the nasal singing of Christopher Johnson, recorded for your listening pleasure at Abbey Road Studios in 2014. Bye! Can't find the stop button!